kutoka leo, umeona mimi nimevaa yangu ya Azimio. Mimi ni mwana Jubilee, lakini kutoka leo, kwa fikra, kwa mdomo, kwa damu, kwa roho, na mimi sina shaka ya kwamba ushindi ni wetu. Sawa sawa? Tuende kazi, tuhubiri amani, tuhubiri umoja, tutembee pamoja.
All right, and that was on Saturday at the ODM NDC that President Kenyatta attended after, of course, officiating Jubilee Party NDC alongside party leaders Raila Odinga and one Kalonzo Musyoka and so many other political leaders who are either working with One Kenya Alliance or working with the Jubilee Party or directly hoping to join, or rather joining Azimio la Umoja. But Honorable Wanga, let me begin with you, because it had been expected that it would be straight away presidential candidate Raila Odinga. Then a night before, an evening before, One Kenya Alliance communicated that it's going to form, to join the conversations around joining Azimio la Umoja. Where are we at this point in time? Because we're also seeing that postponement of what One Kenya Alliance was to do this morning.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. And I want to come to that question, but first I want to ask, you asked Rigathi very important questions about William Ruto's source of wealth. He said William Ruto is a farmer. He should tell us what William Ruto is farming that raises 100 million shillings a month, so that we also go and farm that very thing, because every Kenyan wants to raise that kind of money. He said that Uhuru should have been talking about the cost of living, the cost of fertilizer, the cost of, maize. And we know who has run the agriculture ministry ever since 2013, but even before that. It was William Ruto who was Minister for Agriculture when the maize scandal happened, and that is the reason why he left government. It was Willie Bett whom he put as Minister for Agriculture when we were losing sugar, when we were losing fertilizer. It was the Felix Koskei who was again Minister for Agriculture. In the divided government, William Ruto has been the one in charge of the agriculture ministry. And what we have seen is scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal. We have not seen growth. And so at Sagana, when Uhuru Kenyatta asked a very important question about why now the people of Mount Kenya, are begging for bursaries and so on. When did they start cutting their coffee trees? Who was in that very ministry when they started to cut down their coffee trees? Why are they now being turned into beggars? Those were very fundamental questions. These are the questions Rigathi and co do not want to face. And that is why they are now going to insult Uhuru. They are saying Uhuru stole Mau Mau land. Uhuru was not even born, during Mau Mau period. So now we are telling them, okay, bring back Jomo and start from there. And they are willing to do that because they are not willing to face the actual issues, which is, they are not willing to face the actual issues which faces them. They are Rigathi's own corruption issues. They are not willing to face them. When they are faced with them, they say, no, we are being targeted politically. That's not in question. Let me come back to Azimio now.
Just before you go there, there's something you raised which is pretty interesting, that and also the president said while in Sagana that the deputy president, or rather, he didn't mention him by name, but he said he was responsible for the agriculture ministry. But what does that say of the man who has been elected to be the president with the mandate to use the power as per the constitution?
This is what he was saying. This is what he was explaining. That the very person who is coming to you, Sam, if we have a government with you today, and I tell you, Sam, can you be responsible for ensuring that Kenyans have water? Okay? And then you fail flat. But then you come back to Kenyans and start saying, no, you have no water. You have no this. Yet I gave you the responsibility to ensure that. It was calling out the hypocrisy of William Ruto and his team to come and blame the president on the issue.
The president failed as the president was watching? That's what I'm asking.
And this is the point. The point was, I gave this guy the responsibility. He now comes to you to state that you don't have this, you don't have that. Yet, he had that responsibility, which I gave to him. And he failed me. That is what the president is telling the people. He failed me until I removed him and his people and put Munya. And now with Munya in the helm, you have been getting your bonuses for tea, for coffee. This is what the president said. I acted. But before I acted, this man failed me. And he shouldn't come to you claiming he has the solution. And now I want to come to the Azimio issue.
Let me respond to that, Sam. Let me respond to that. No. She has responded to me. And I have a right of reply.
At no point did I interrupt.
But I have a right of reply to that.
Okay, all right.
I have not finished my point.
Just finish. We'll come back to Honorable Rigathi. Just finish on the question I asked you about.
Because you asked me a question, I have not answered it. And when Rigathi was speaking, nobody interrupted.
But she went back to what I said, so I have a right of reply.
Just go on. I'll give him an opportunity.
Exactly. So just wait for your turn. But you see, when you start to tell the truth, Rigathi can't sit in his seat still. He wants to, you know,
just respond to the question.
Let me continue now. So on the Azimio issue, and you've raised an important point, which is that why was it not straight Raila, you know, candidature? The coalitions are built and they are negotiated. And day after day, they are negotiated. ODM, we presented Raila Odinga as our candidate for Azimio la Umoja. And we finished that bit. But then, the eve to the conventions, Oka, you know, and we are very, very happy that Oka announced their intention to work with Azimio. And therefore, that calls for further negotiation because Oka also already are working on a candidate of their own. So when Oka has its candidate and they come to Azimio, and ODM has its candidate and they come to Azimio, Jubilee did not put forward a candidate, neither did the rest of the almost 20 parties that are in Azimio. So then we're going to have a further meeting to say, okay, look, now ODM has a candidate and Oka has a candidate. How do we move forward to have one candidate? So it's for the good of the coalition. When you have more interest, it's for the good. And therefore, I see nothing wrong. Even Oka has said they were going to sign today, but then they said, okay, we are having more interest, so we want to push it to Wednesday or Thursday. It's for the good. So if more people are interested, it shows this is the coalition that's going to take over running the country. And we're going to take it by a slim margin. From what the interest I see, we are 70% plus of this country.
Let's listen to what those leaders who are, I'll give you an opportunity, Honorable Rigathi, what those leaders were saying while in those NDCs.
Tukiingia hii Azimio na hii One Kenya sisi wote, ODM nasikia wamesema wanataka kulete jina la Raila Amolo Odinga. Ni sawa? Wiper wanasema wanataka kutuletea jina la Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Si ni sawa? Si sasa tukiingiana pamoja tutaenda kuchambua, tutoe ndume moja ya kwenda kupigana na wale wakora upande ule mwingine na tufagie dunia.
Na mimi ni candidate ya ODM katika kinyang'anyiro ya Azimio la Umoja. Na mimi niko uwanjani. Si mimi niko tayari? Si mimi niko tayari?
But I give you my promise and that of Oka that we are together on this journey. But we will negotiate structured dialogue, honest conversation, correcting even historical imbalances, because building a coalition is not easy anywhere. And I propose, Mr. President, you take the leadership of that coalition.
Na baadaye itakuwa na hafla kirasmi ya kuzindua Azimio pamoja. Siku hiyo. Na siku hiyo ndio sisi tutatoa candidate yetu ya Azimio la Umoja.
Okay, so Honorable Mbui, I listened to your party leader and I take keen interest in what he's saying, that we have to have structured dialogue, we have to take care of historical balancing, and I propose the president to take lead of that coalition. What is this? Because we know that he's on record questioning or talking about trust deficit while working with Raila Odinga. What is this and how do you plan to go around it?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. But Sam, just before I answer that, allow me to just give an opinion on some of the things that have been raised here. I want to support my colleague, Honorable Gladys Wanga, on the part of what the president said about the leadership in the agriculture ministry. And I want to say categorically, you cannot say the president has failed, especially when you do what we call, it's like a coalition. The arrangement between the president and his deputy was such that they would share government. And when you go into an arrangement of that nature where you share government and you take a docket, even if I am the president and you're my deputy, and you've taken a certain department of government, it is not my responsibility to run it, because you come into this arrangement on a 50-50 basis. So I think for anyone to imagine that the president should have been the one running the ministry or telling the deputy what to do, it wouldn't have worked out, because ideally the president also needed the support of the deputy for the 2017 general election. So I think it's an issue of shared government. And going forward, even now, we are discussing a coalition arrangement. Would expect that if One Kenya Alliance is allowed the management of the docket of agriculture, it doesn't come back after 5 years, maybe if there is any failings, and say it is somebody else who has failed. So I think it's an issue of trust. And it's an issue of fairness. But I'm also surprised at the very interesting threats that my colleague Rigathi has thrown towards the president. I mean, he said very interesting things. Oh, I don't know, we are going to expose them and all. And he says, and here I want to say, let's be truthful. He says, now that he has started, we are going to answer him. Can I say that we have watched TV on a daily basis, this Citizen TV, and every time they are out there, it's only the deputy president who is very careful what he says. But every one of them would find a way of insulting the president every single day. So when you say you're going to call him out today, you've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years. So I mean, it's let's just be fair, that let's not pretend that you've been holding the president in high esteem. He's always been belittled in those Tanga rallies. Now, on the matter of the coalition building, Sam, we as One Kenya Alliance, and I want to just take you back a little, and you realize in 2013, 3 parties came together. That was Ford Kenya, Wiper and ODM, and formed a coalition. And we came in as equal partners. If you remember, the CORD coalition had 3 equal partners. Right. Of course, after the election, the equality changes, because ODM had more members, Wiper was second, and Ford Kenya was third. So that happens after elections. And people, of course, once they've expressed through their vote who is more popular, then you realize that ODM was ahead of us. But having said that, we were basically equal partners going into CORD coalition. In 2017, 2 new parties joined us, and that was ANC and CCM. And when they joined us, it became NASA coalition. Again, a coalition that was for all of us. I think what you need to understand is, as right now under the new Political Parties Act, after amendments, we can go in as a coalition and form a coalition with another coalition party. So we are hoping that at the end of the day, because Azimio was already launched by the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga as his campaign vehicle, and that was done some time back. And One Kenya Alliance has been launched by the team that Wiper is part of, also for the presidential race. Jubilee have already gotten and courted other parties, I think about 5, 6 other parties to join them. So there are a lot of parties going into coalitions. We want to bring all these coalitions together. And I think the issue of structured dialogue is, how will we work under this arrangement? It's new now. Because previously it was individual parties coming together, and it was much easier. But now it's a coalition arrangement. So here is Wiper. It has to think about the interests of NARC Kenya, the interests of KANU, the interests of UDP, and maybe going forward the interest of Sisi, with the Chama Chakazi of Moses Kuria.
But saying that he can only join One Kenya Alliance if you're not going to work with Azimio.
Well, fine. That is because we have already expressed that we are going to work together under the larger banner with Azimio and ODM and Jubilee. So if he's not interested, then basically it means he's not going to join.
So tell me about what your party leader is saying, that would appeal to you, President Kenyatta, to lead this movement.
I think this is a very, very simple thing. he would like the president to take charge because the president is not vying for any leadership within the arrangement. You know, Raila is an interested party, so is my party leader, and there may be others. So if Raila takes lead in this new coalition arrangement, then already he becomes a candidate. So we want to create a situation where, yes, he may end up being our candidate, but we don't want to go in and say we've already given in. You know, our people are also expecting our party leader to be on the ballot. So we have to
and if not?
We already, and he was clear. He said, we will work together and we will have one candidate. And the one candidate, and I'll tell you.
All right, Honorable Mbui, what I'm asking is,
yes,
what are the, should I use this term, irreducible minimums for One Kenya Alliance going into this arrangement, especially when it comes to the presidential lineup of
No, I think maybe what you are trying to get from me is comments made by other people.
No, I'm asking this question independently, individually.
It has to. No. There are no irreducible minimums. The only thing that we have said, and my party leader has been very categorical, we must have structured dialogue. And I'm telling you what the structured dialogue means. It means that the interest of all our affiliate parties within our coalition must be taken into consideration. And that is going to be, see, there are so many things, you know, when you look at, it's not about just the presidential seat. Let me tell you, even on the matter of nominations and how do we go into the election, when we're in a huge coalition and we have several coalitions in that huge coalition, how do we go into the nomination process? For example, in Lower Eastern, how do we field candidates?
Okay.
If you go to Nyanza, how do we field candidates? When you come to Nairobi, so there's a lot of conversations about how we will work together going forward.
Okay.
But the part of the presidential candidate, I think that's a part he wanted the president to take charge, so that he can put together a team, and then they can make a decision. And that decision, if it is coming from a person who we feel is a neutral arbiter like the president, we'll all accept. If the president comes finally and says from the networks and from
you're doing this knowing that President Kenyatta has already endorsed Raila Odinga, right?
I think if you listen to my party leader, he's optimistic that now that we've come in, he endorsed Raila Odinga in Azimio. Because Raila Odinga was in Azimio, we were not. We were in One Kenya. And now we have opened up the space for ourselves.
He said, support this gentleman. He didn't say Kalonzo Musyoka, he said Raila Odinga.
Well, so are you maybe some implying that when we go into this arrangement, there is no space for us?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that.
Because you see, I can see that's a narrative.
No, it's not a narrative. I'm telling you what the president said. It should appear that he has a preference.
And that's why we are telling him, take lead so that you can become neutral. We've noticed that he seems to have a tendency of leaning on one side. So when you give him the seat to chair, he will stop leaning on one side and start listening to both sides fairly.
Okay. Honorable Gachagua, a lot of things have been said. Yeah. I know you have something to respond, but also tell me about what you're making of this Azimio la Umoja. Is it such a threat to your campaign, looking at all these leaders coming together, all these parties coming together to work under Azimio la Umoja to face the deputy president of the ballot?
Yeah, before I go to the earlier issues, because I may forget, I want to assure him the president is not neutral in this matter. His project is Raila Odinga. He is only interested in Kalonzo Musyoka as far as he can come to support Raila Odinga.
What do you mean?
If he won't support Raila Odinga, the president has no business with Kalonzo Musyoka. He said it there in Sagana, in Kikuyu, Indo there. This is his man. He is only interested in Kalonzo Musyoka to come and support Raila Odinga, and he cannot be neutral in the matter. He has taken a position. Number two, my only interest, Kalonzo Musyoka is my neighbor in Karen, a man that I admire. My only interest in this discussion, he said on record that he will be the most stupid person to support Raila Odinga again. I'm waiting with bated breath, to see whether he will confirm that he's not stupid or he's stupid. That's what I'm waiting for. Going back, we are not bothered about Azimio. If Kalonzo Musyoka deputizes Raila Odinga, they were there in that ticket in 2017, in 2013. We are not bothered. And life has moved on. Ethnicity is not such a big factor in this election. We have serious support in Ukambani. We have serious support elsewhere. And our strategy is well cut out, and we want to win this election first round, irrespective of the coalition that is being formed. A partnership with Jubilee is of no consequence. Jubilee is finished. It's gone. There's nothing, I can tell you. And that is why you see, if you look at the list of the people they picked as the new officials, it tells you how difficult it was to get any serious leader to be in that formation, because people have moved on. You saw, even after Sagana, even after NDC, people like Mwangi Githiomi, the center of Nyandarua, they had the pressure from the people. You know, we don't want you there. So we are not really both sides. Going back to what my sister here said, when fertilizer was 2,500, William Ruto was Minister for Agriculture. The people of the mountain love that. William Ruto was kicked out of government in 2018. Fertilizer is 6,000. He cannot be responsible. Peter Munya is the Minister for Agriculture. My sister here does not know about tea bonus. They don't farm tea. Those were lies given to Uhuru Kenyatta by Munya. And he lied to the people of Kenya in Sagana that bonus is the highest, is at the lowest. Kagochi Tea Factory, where I come from, is at 18 shillings this year. It's the lowest since independence. Dima Tea Factory, a factory that I share with the Deer, is at 22 shillings. It's at the lowest. And that is why people there are mad. You know, they are being told, even the president in Sagana said, just like he said during the State National Address in Parliament, that fertilizer is at the lowest. DAP is 6,400. CAN is 5,800. 17 is 4,900. 2020 is 5,100. Urea is 7,000.
What is pushing that price up?
Well, lack of government intervention in terms of subsidy. In Parliament, during the budget policy statement, our team from One Kenya Alliance, from Kenya Kwanza Alliance, we put a proposal to provide in the budget, 5 billion shillings to give fertilizer subsidy. These people, the handshake people, joined hands and defeated that proposal. And then you are going to tell people that things are okay. Number two, I want to say the president must take responsibility for his government. When Mwai Kibaki was vice president, the economy was down completely. And he was vice president for 10 years. And he was there. There's nothing he could do. President calls the shots. When he became president, he turned the economy around because he was the driver's seat. This country is the driver. Let Uhuru Kenyatta drive this country. He kicked Ruto out of government 2018. Food prices are the highest. People cannot buy food. People cannot buy medicine. People are in trouble. People are crying. He is the president. Ruto is not there.
All right.
He has moved on, and he is seeking to be president later this year. As we are out of government, we are not interested. We have moved on. Let Uhuru Kenyatta take care of his baby. He is president. Let him not pass the buck to other people. He has had the opportunity in the last 4 years to put his house in order. If Ruto was a problem, and I asked a question, and I asked Uhuru Kenyatta because he's my friend, and these corruption cases he put against me, Nancy Gitau is from my constituency. She's an advisor to the president. She sat me down and said, if you don't leave Ruto, you are going to be in shit. You must leave Ruto. I said, I will not. I stayed with Uhuru Kenyatta as his personal assistant. I gave him money for his campaign in 2013. He knows I'm a businessman. He never asked me the source then. All those years I stayed with him, his government did not have a problem with me until I said I cannot leave Ruto. If Uhuru Kenyatta, my friend and my president, knew that Ruto is a thief and Ruto cannot help him to run government, he had an opportunity, Sam, in 2017, to change him and get another running mate. I mean, he had that opportunity, but he waited until Ruto has helped him accede to the presidency. Once he acceded, he fought him very hard, because after he was sworn in fact, the first meeting in State House, he gave signs that he wanted to shaft Ruto. He really abused us, and he told us off. The first meeting after the repeat election. In fact, he had started to abuse us before the election was cancelled. He called us on 30th of August, and gave us a serious tongue lashing, and told us off, told Ruto off. 2 days after the election was cancelled, he looked for us. He talked to us nicely, he gave us money to go and help him. Immediately he was re-elected, he went back to fighting Ruto money? And all of us. Those are details we don't.
No, since
no, that's okay. That's okay. What happens, Sam? Even if you disagree with the people, the nitty-gritties of your relationship, you go with them. Myself, let me tell you, and Uhuru Kenyatta knows me. If there is somebody who knows him, it's me. many things we have done together. I've never taken them. I'll go with them down to the grave because I'm a gentleman. I'm an officer. I served him as a personal assistant. I stayed with him. Many things we did that if they ever came out in this world, they'll shake the world. But I'll go with them down the grave because you must be an honest man. Why you have a problem? Why you have a problem? Why these guys have a problem? Why they asking? Why are they asking? Why are they asking Uhuru Kenyatta?
The threats must.
Why are they asking Uhuru Kenyatta to chair the talks? It's because they don't trust Raila. He has shortchanged them twice. He has shortchanged them thrice.
Just hold on. You know, Honorable Gachagua, you have said so many things that...
threats must stop.
It's okay, Honorable. Just hold up. You've said a few things. First of all, you've mentioned an advice of the president who is not on this show. So I have no way of verifying what you're saying is true. You have mentioned an advisor who is not on this show. So plead with you so that you avoid talking about people who are not here. But you've also said that after the nullification of the election, you are called back to State House and you're given some money to go and campaign.
Yeah.
What was that? How much money was that?
No, I don't have to give details. It's not necessary. But we went to campaign for him and he won. Yeah. And we have no regrets, by the way. He's a good guy. We loved him. We supported him. He turned against us. It's okay. We have a second chance. What we have been asking him to do is to take retirement and not try to govern through a proxy. Okay. What we are trying to tell him is not try to extend his term unconstitutionally by getting a protege, by getting a...
Honorable Gachagua, that's not the answer to my question. So let's listen to a clip that of the Wiper leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, and what he has been saying over time and touches on the conversations around Azimio One Kenya Alliance.
ODM was not supposed to field a candidate in 2022. You hear them arguing, oh, but that was meant, that assumed that we have already won. That was, no, what argument is that?
Naanza kutetemeka. Naanza kubweka. Subiri bwana, mambo bado.
I would be the most stupid fellow on the earth to go and support the third time a presidential candidate. All right? Without a measure of reciprocity.
Okay, that's Kalonzo Musyoka. Honorable Wanga, I mean, knowing the history and the very uncomfortable relationship that went on between then NASA principals and specifically Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga, and now almost back together under the Azimio One Kenya Alliance. I don't know whether that name is agreed actually. So what's the give and take here? Because some of the leaders within Wiper, and make what Senator Enoch Wambua of Kitui has been saying that if Kalonzo Musyoka decides to deputize Raila Odinga, he's going there alone.
Yeah, I think we know how the politics of this country goes. And we know that people, you know, get to some point, we say things, but only, you know, a fool never changes their mind about issues. And sometimes the country becomes more important than our own individual, you know, thoughts or, you know, pieces of, you know, our thinking. So I think Kalonzo is a politician in this country, but he's not just a politician, he's a leader. And he knows when the country needs leadership. And this is one of those times that if we do not come together as a nation, then we will leave this country in the hands of people who have brought down the economy of this country to its knees. People who do not care about the very farmers they talk about. People who are, you know, have duplicities. People who have been put in a ministry when fertilizer subsidy was brought to this country. They were busy giving it to cartels and not to the farmers when they were at the helm. So this is the reason why the conversation Kalonzo is having now is we can work together, but let us have structured dialogue. Let us have, you know, terms that we are all agreed on moving forward. I don't see anything wrong.
What does that entail for you?
And for me, I think the next few weeks, the next few days and the next few weeks is going to define. I cannot speak on the table here about what is going to, you know, come on board, but there's going to be discussions and there's going to be agreement. And there are times that we did not think Kibaki, for example, would work together with Raila, and they did. There are times we never thought, after the 2007, that Uhuru would work together with Ruto. After what happened in Kiambaa, after what happened in the churches there, after what happened then, we did not think that would be possible. And it was possible. We never thought Uhuru and Raila would come together. And they have come together because these are people who have said, let's put the country forward. And this is what I see our leader Kalonzo doing. And that is welcome. So he cannot be pinned on statements that were made, some time back. We have seen this happening. It will not be the first time. It is just to put the interest of this nation
Honorable, there's
ahead of anything else. Sorry, come on, Sam.
Yes, you've said that there are people that are responsible for bringing down the economy to its knees. Who is that?
This is the Ruto and his group.
You actually believe the economy is on its knees?
No, they have brought this country to a point. When somebody steals 20, or when somebody speaks about only 7 billion is lost, for example, this is a situation, this is somebody you want to trust with the economy of the nation? When somebody has been given an agriculture ministry to run and maize is lost and fertilizer subsidies are lost and they're importing sugar that we cannot account for, this is somebody we think we can trust with the economy? When everybody who has been charged with corruption is actually around you, and you are the one, accepting every person charged with corruption, whether it is Waititu, whether it is Rigathi, whether it is who else, you are accepting all of them around you. Do you think we can trust you with the economy of this country? We can't. Those are the people I'm referring to. When the president who made you his deputy goes in public and says you're moving around with stolen money, surely you think we can trust you with the economy of this nation?
You confuse me because you said that the economy is on its knees. Then the president says that he's the only president who has been able to work so hard to bring the economy from 5 trillion GDP to 11 trillion. So I'm lost.
I said people who can actually bring the economy of this country to its knees. And what I mean is that from their record, if given this economy, they can bring it to its knees.
Okay, and Honorable Mbui, so knowing your party leader and the history he has had, so many things he has said, including at the age of 63, why would I delay the decision to become president? That was in 2017. December 2021, at the age of 68, why would I wait any longer? And now here we are, and there is a possibility that he may not be the presidential candidate because Raila Odinga also wants that position. And then that makes me wonder, there's been this talk that for a credible campaign, the running mate would have to come from Mount Kenya region. What are you approaching the table with?
I thought I had answered that question because I want to say that at one time we had a meeting for our party's neck, and I raised the concern about what is the need for my party leader when we go into any negotiation. I personally raised a concern and I said, as we are going into these negotiations, some of us will be safe with our seats and we can fight for our seats because as long as you're a candidate, it is good for us. But what is the need for you? And he was very categorical, and I'm telling you, he told me that let his positions or his interests not be of my concern. Let us worry more about the country. Those are his words. In fact, I was very embarrassed because I was very busy pushing him, and I was saying, we must make sure that you are well positioned. And he said, no, that's should never be your concern, because the interest of almost 50 million Kenyans is what is important. So I think this is a statesman. Okay. And at the point of the interview, when he said that he would not be very intelligent if he was to support Raila for I think a third time. He also said without any measure of reciprocity. So you would never know the kind of give and take that will come into these arrangements, where maybe there will be some reciprocity that will be supportive of our party, our party Wiper. Okay. So really, at the end of the day, I think, like he said, only fools don't change their minds. I think what he was talking about was what he was feeling at that point. But as he rightly put it, they're not permanent friends or enemies in politics. You've seen, she's mentioned people who we thought would never shake hands. But
and what really, did Musalia say about Ruto?
Yes, look at the things what Musalia kept saying about Ruto, and then suddenly now he's singing about him. And he's the one who was telling us about Uda, and said Uda, who is Uda? And people are saying Judas. and they said Ruto is Judas, and then suddenly he becomes a Judas Iscariot of One Kenya Alliance and goes to...
Honorable Boy, can you just focus on the real topic? I want us to transition and listen to something that was also said at the Jubilee NDC that affects Honorable Rigathi Gachagua here.
That all members of Jubilee Party that have openly promoted the policies and or ideologies of other political parties be deemed to have ceased to be members of Jubilee Party and be removed from the register of members of Jubilee Party. Wanaounga semeni ndio, wanaokataa hamna.
Kuna mtu nilifukuza? Wenyewe ndio walijiondoa ama ni mimi niliwaondoa? Sini wenyewe? Sini wenyewe walijiondoa? Chama chetu chihai, na wataona ya kwamba chama chetu kihai kutokana na yale mipango ambayo tutapanga kutoka siku ya leo. Wataona ya kwamba chama kimeguruma.
Chama kimeguruma. Honorable Gachagua, so you no longer have a party. How does that, what does that mean for you as a member of parliament, or have you already transitioned to becoming a member of UDA?
Before I come to that, Sam, William Ruto does not accommodate leaders charged with corruption. Leaders around William Ruto are charged with corruption because they are with him. And that is why those cases go nowhere. I was arrested by 50 CID men. 1 year down the line, they have not brought the evidence in court. The case cannot be heard until later the year because there is nothing. So once you are with William Ruto, the criminal justice system comes for you. Number two, the economy. The president was economical with the truth in Sagana. What he should have told the people of Sagana after saying how well he has done, he would have been very forthright to tell the people that he inherited a debt from Mwai Kibaki of 1.8 trillion. And he has left us with a debt of 11.2 trillion. That he was economical with the truth. Jubilee, we were chased away. I'm surprised the president is saying he never chased us away. When you remove people from their committees and replace them with the people from the opposition, my friend here is a beneficiary. She's a chair of a committee that belonged to the ruling party. I was chased away from the Committee of Transport. Kimani Ichung'wah was chased away from the budget. Senator Kipchumba Murkomen was removed. Duale was removed. The president has literally fought everybody who helped him come to office. And he has embraced the people who used to abuse him and stay with him. He chased us away. He stripped his deputy of his powers. He stripped him of official functions. We are also grown-ups, we are intelligent people. We could not just hang around to wait for him to call us. Anytime he called a PG, it was a monologue, a lecture full of abuse and insults. And we had to look for a new home. In fact, the deputy president was very reluctant. He kept on saying, I have put so much energy, emotionally, resources on Jubilee. How can we just leave Jubilee just like that? And we told him, some of us, we know Uhuru Kenyatta, this guy has made a decision to shaft us. And he's not with us anymore. And this handshake was a predetermined thing. Although he was denying it was about 2022, what we said has come to pass. The handshake was about 2022. It has ended where we said it will end. We told William Ruto, and we persuaded him, let us look for a new home. And we started the UDA. It's now a serious political movement. Had we not done that, now he would have chased us away on Saturday, and then we had nowhere to go. Luckily, we already had found a new home, emotionally and in the heart. What was remaining is the official nitty-gritties, okay? We are happy now we don't even have to resign, yeah? Because what we would have done is resign from Jubilee and join UDA. We are hoping that by maybe today, tomorrow, they will remove us from the register. We're very happy so that we don't have to waste time going to resign and then join UDA. Once they remove us from the party register, we'll be on UDA, where our hearts are, where our members are. That is the party of the moment. And I can tell you why Moses Kuria, when he met Kalonzo yesterday, and he was very categorical. He said, politics is local. I want to work with Oka. Yeah, I have no problem. But if you join Azimio, I have no business to do with you because on the ground I'm finished. He wants to be governor of Kiambu. If he is associated with Azimio, my friend, Moses Kuria, a very popular leader, will go home. You will not see the seat. And that goes for the whole region. Anybody associated with Azimio, there is a governor of Laikipia. He's called Rito Mureri. He's a chairman of Raila's campaign. He went to his place in Othaya, where he comes from, where people like him, and they listened to him. He explained. The minute he mentioned that they have an arrangement with ODM, the meeting ended there. That is the mood in the mountain. And even if the president has Sagana 1, Sagana 2, up to Sagana 20, that cannot change. And some you call me here one day. I mean, it's 5 months from now, because you may say I'm just talking. And that is why I would tell my sister here, she should monitor the people who work with them, Akina Kanini Kega, Kina Ngojiri Wambua. When they go to the mountain, they don't say Raila. They only do it outside the mountain, on social media and TV stations. But when they go to the ground, in meetings, they just talk about themselves and Uhuru Kenyatta. They don't mention him. That is the mood on the ground. And Kuria, Moses Kuria, is a very pragmatic leader. He said, I like your ideas. I like everything you do. But if you are joining Azimio, I'm sorry, I cannot be with you because my goose is cooked. That I'll be a non-starter as far as the election is concerned.
Honorable Gachagua, in the intervening period before you transition from Jubilee to UDA, the law would appear to suggest that once you have moved from a political party, you lose your seat.
Well, ideally, but the law also says you cannot have a by-election 3 months before the general election. So that's up to Jubilee. If they want to go and initiate the process of having us be kicked out to go for elections, it's up to them, as we are not both that. By the way, we are ready for elections. Yeah, the mood in the country is about elections. So, but this also, the law provide a window now for people to move around from this party to that party, to this party, to that party. So, be as it may, whatever happens, ourselves, we belong to the UDA. If anybody wants to initiate a process to make us lose our seats, we also have no problem, yeah, because we have decided that we are UDA and we are going to defend our seats on that ticket.
Okay, let's listen to what the leaders from Kenya Kwanza said.
Can we say something on these issues?
Yes, I'll come to you because you're almost out of time, but let's listen to what Kenya Kwanza said about the events of the weekend.
Shuttle NDCs are not the role of the President of the Republic. Wanamshusha mamlaka, wanamshusha heshima. That is not what they should be doing to our President.
Tulikuwa tunaambiwa ati wakija Sagana mutabadilika. Mumebadilika? Mumebadilika? Hata wakituita ati sisi ni wakora. Sisi ndio tulimfanya Uhuru Kenyatta akawa rais wa Kenya. Watu heshimu bwana. Please. Heshima si utumwa.
All right, I have very limited time. I wish you could take a minute each as we wind up on this. And the question for you, Honorable Gachagua, will be on the lineup for Kenya Kwanza. But you wanted to raise something about what Honorable Gachagua was speaking about.
Okay, first of all, just listen to the arrogance at that rally, that we are the ones who made you president, Bana, respect us. That is the arrogance that has been, you know, that the president, I think, has also cringed on. But secondly, I think the dishonesty within UDA is what Rigathi is speaking to here. One, when the president had the handshake with Raila Odinga, and the president said, the handshake is to bring peace and to bring unity and cohesion so that we have an environment in which we can work. Immediately, the deputy president and his team became rebellious. They began to insult the president. The president said, can you hold on to campaigns so that we can first work for the people? They refused. If your leader, your party leader, speaks to you about these issues and you refuse, then you're not having any respect to your party leader. And that is what resulted. These people were in committees, they were in leadership of the House, and undermining and speaking against the very government for which they were working. And this is when it became untenable. You cannot speak against the very government for which you're working. And this is where the disengagement came. So they come and say, the president chased us. No, they disrespected the president. They were fighting the very government that they were supposed to be working for. And this is where the disengagement came. Okay. Secondly, they say that Kanini Kega cannot speak about Raila, you know, when you know, in Central. I was personally in Kieni the other day when Kanini had 4,600 delegates from Kieni constituency. And we spoke about about Raila Odinga. So these lies that we come and peddle here are for nowhere. I've been there with everybody else. And of course the people are going to vote, you know, for whichever leader they want.
Okay.
But if the president's statements are inconsequential, why are they going after him? If Sagana 20 is inconsequential, why are they going even after Jomo Kenyatta? Even after Mamangin? Why are they going after them?
That's fine,
if they are inconsequential, leave them alone.
All right.
But it must mean that the president's word means something. It means something great in Central. And the ground is shifting, and the ground is moving away from them, and that is why they're going after the president.
Honorable Mbui, your closing remark, especially on what we are to see in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I do believe that in the next 2-3 weeks, first and foremost, we've postponed our signing of the coalition agreements from today to Wednesday. So Wednesday we'll finish the One Kenya Alliance agreement. Then in the next 1-2 weeks, I'm sure that we'll be able to get together with our partners and make a decision going forward. But I want to debunk that myth of working together with Raila of Kalonzo Musyoka. You know, these are two gentlemen who went into the race for presidential candidacy in 2013. They competed for the ticket together, and Raila won. Again, they went for the same competition in 2017. Again, Raila won. So it's normal. Maybe they'll go into that competition, and now Kalonzo might win.
Okay. All right. Honorable Gachagua, your closing remarks, and also tell me about Kenya Kwanza, the sort of lineup you are looking at.
No, we have our NDC on the 15th of March.
That is UDA.
UDA. To unveil our presidential candidate, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Other things will follow, you know. And I want to say this. I want to tell my friend here, the Honorable Mbui, that talk, unless Raila is a flag bearer, if Kalonzo is agreeable that Raila is a flag bearer, they have a deal. If he doesn't agree, there's no deal. That is cast in stone, and you'll ask me one day.
And for Kenya Kwanza, you say UDA is going to unveil its presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Already ANC unveiled Musalia Mudavadi, so how will they square it out?
We are saying we are going to unveil William Ruto. Other things will follow. But as far as I'm concerned, there is general consensus that William Ruto is a candidate.
And running mate, where will they come from?
That will come, the running mate will come from the mountain at the appropriate time. That was discussed. And you know why Kalonzo is having a problem.
No. What goes to ANC?
I'm just saying.
What goes to ANC?
I'm just saying. Let me say, why they're having problems is deceit. Why we have a problem with Uhuru Kenyatta is political deceit and conmanship. Conmanship, I repeat. And when we tell the president the truth, we don't insult him. We just say the truth. When you say you support somebody for 10 years and you don't support him, that is conmanship.
Let's tie this. You said that there is general agreement that William Ruto will be the presidential candidate for Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
The running mate will come from the mountain.
Yes.
What does Musalia Mudavadi get?
That is subject to discussion. But when they came for discussion,
Minister for Sports is
when they came for discussion,
yes.
When we have had many discussions,
and that is what is going to West.
When we have had many discussions,
yes.
We are very forthright with Musalia and Wetangula because we are honest people. We are people of integrity. They could not be running away from Raila because of
and you told him?
Lack of integrity. To come to us, we cheat them. They were told already. We have had our own discussion, and we have agreed that the running mate is for the mountain. So as you come, it's good that you know. And they came with that knowledge. You know, it's important to be forthright.
So they're no
we don't want to con people, Sam. This is a political deceit and conmanship. It's the cause of all problems in this country.
So you hear
it needs to come to an end.
You hear confirmed that Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula are agreed that they have no place.
No, they will not. They will not. They will not be the running mate. That I can confirm.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I can confirm that one.
Let's take a look at what Kenyans have been saying via Citizen TV, and at Sam Gituku, the hashtag to use is Debrek. And we begin with Saul Twiga. I agree with Mr. Mbui, Honorable Mbui, over the remarks always made by UDA allies. Only DP is the one who is careful while talking about the president. Someone remind Rigathi, respect is given where it's seen. Okello Mwalimu, don't be cheated. Presidential candidate of Azimio One Kenya is known. The only obstacles which seem to delay signing of the deal are who gets running mate slot and how to accommodate Mount Kenya in the event Kalonzo becomes Baba's running mate. F. Okango, we are committed to the unity and ongoing structured engagements with those whom we share ideals. We affirm our commitment to the proposed Grand Coalition Azimio One Kenya Alliance. This has been demonstrated by our principles so far. And Kiprono Abraham, we are living in a world of wonders. In the recent past, Honorable Wanga was castigating President Uhuru to the bottom of her heart. Today, she is sweating to support, explain and legitimize Uhuru's sentiments, some made in local vernacular. Funny times. Then Chalo Wodrozi, you say defeating Azimio la Umoja will be a nightmare for Kenya Kwanza. Sitting president in coalition with a popular opposition leader can never be defeated no matter what. Kenya Kwanza should be ready to be in opposition as from August this year. Okay. Alex Wanjohi, I concur with Rigathi Gachagua. The reason why there is a lot of resistance in the mountain is because a few people want us to follow a certain political side, but they are not respecting decision of family supporting William Samoei Ruto. And Seguta Rap, in fighting perceived political enemy, we miss a point. Suppose two people come to church. One man donates 100 shillings that he robbed a dying man, and another gives 30,000 proceeds from selling his cattle. Should we simply conclude that huge amount is dirty? Seguta Rap is your take. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, our gentleman and lady, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Honorable Gladys Wanga, and Robert Mbui for making time for us to have this conversation, and at least we got something out of it. Honorable Gachagua has confirmed their thinking within One Kenya Alliance on the running mate slot. Will you be the running mate, or possible?
I don't know.
You don't know? No. Okay, that's our time. Up next is Sporty Monday.
Smile.